I'm Tess Walston, and I'll be going over my 5-lesson unit for a high school chemistry classroom. The end of the unit goal is to be able to design a plan to alter the atmosphere of Mars in order to make it habitable for humans. I used 5 influential learning theories to help drive my design of the activities and assessments for each lesson. First, the general concept needs to be introduced to the students in a way that they can relate to it. In Lesson 1, the goal is for students to be able to determine how the events in Earth's history affected the planetary conditions. The activity has students using an interactive web tool to explore how the major events of Earth's history affected different variables. The assessment of learning comes in the form of having students apply their understanding to a new point of view of the concept, where students need to determine how an increase in global temperature will affect our planet. The theory used to design this lesson was schema theory. Students are asked to identify their current schema first in order to accept, reject, and/or build on it. Students were able to explore the concepts, but they need to also be able to show what they know in a different format. For Lesson 2, the goal is for students to be able to graphically show the concepts they learned in Lesson 1. Students are given data tables that show the percentage of different atmospheric gases and the major events through the past 4.6 billion years. Students will then use their new understanding and their prior knowledge to create a graphic on a poster that shows the relationships or patterns in the data. This lesson was based on the theory of the 3 modes of representation. Students used their inactive understanding that they gained from interacting with a model in Lesson 1 and apply it to building an iconic understanding by representing the concept in a graph. Now that students understand how the events on Earth changed our atmospheric conditions, they're able to compare it to Mars. In Lesson 3, students will be able to use a phase diagram to determine what atmospheric conditions are necessary for water to be liquid on Mars. Students first use their prior knowledge to fill out a blank phase diagram. After a class discussion where the students can have their misconceptions addressed, they will then compare Mars's atmospheric conditions to a phase diagram of water to determine a way to make water exist as a liquid. The theory used for this lesson was the meaningful learning theory. Students relate the new information of phase diagrams to their prior knowledge of the states of matter in order to solve the problem of having water on Mars. But water isn't the only thing that humans need to survive, so the students need to explore the other conditions of Mars. For Lesson 4, the goal is for students to be able to compare and contrast Mars and Earth in order to brainstorm ways to alter Mars's atmosphere to make it more like ours. This lesson puts students in charge of their learning by asking them to use web-based resources to create a graphic organizer that compares Mars and Earth. They will then use that as the starting point for thinking about a way that they can alter Mars to make it more like Earth. The theory I used to design this lesson was constructivism. To try and reach the learning goal, the teacher could have just lectured to the students and had them fill out a graphic organizer. Instead, this lesson enables students to practice their digital literacy skills to research information about Mars and Earth. Now that students have all the baseline information that they need, they're able to start their work on designing a solution. Lesson 5's main focus is for students to design a plan to alter the atmospheric conditions on Mars in order to make it habitable. Students use all the knowledge they acquired in the previous 4 lessons and work in teams to design the plan. When all the groups are done, they will choose one student to be a spokesperson for their group, and everyone else will walk around the room to view the other projects. The spokesperson is there to answer questions that the other students may have. The learning theory used for this is Bloom's taxonomy. I chose the domain that enabled students to use the highest order level of thinking skills to present the new understanding.